Hell behind bars inside India's largest prison. Today's topic of the world's worst prisons takes us to the largest prison in India. Let us know in the comments if you think a prison like this is justified or not. When most people imagine a prison, they typically think of a place where punishment is carried out fairly and with some degree of humanity. However, Tihar Jail, located in Delhi, India, shatters these expectations. Tihar is not only the largest prison in India, but also one of the most feared and inhumane places in the world. This massive facility, housing over 16,000 inmates, is synonymous with overcrowding, brutal violence, and the utter neglect of basic human rights. Officially, Tihar has a capacity of around 5,000 inmates, but the real number of those imprisoned here far exceeds this limit. Inmates often live crammed into small cells, where dozens of people are forced into spaces so tight they cannot even lie down. Personal space is non-existent. When night falls, prisoners have to press against each other just to find a bit of room on the concrete floor. The lack of hygiene and basic privacy only exacerbates their suffering. However, overcrowding is not the only issue. Tihar has become a literal battleground where chaos and violence reign. Prisoners often form gangs that control different parts of the prison. Clashes between these groups are a daily occurrence. Weaker inmates are regularly subjected to bullying and violence, with nowhere to turn for help. The violence isn't limited to the inmates themselves. Prison guards are frequently accused of brutal treatment toward the prisoners. Reports of beatings, torture, and psychological abuse are not exceptional, but rather commonplace. Some inmates claim that guards select their victims based on how much they can pay for better treatment. Corruption runs deep in Tihar, and if someone has money, they can secure better food, accommodations, or even protection from other prisoners. Those who are poor, however, suffer exponentially more. For them, Tihar is a true hell. In addition to violence and bullying, there is an extreme lack of basic medical care. Diseases are rampant and spread quickly due to the cramped conditions and poor hygiene. Medicines are often unavailable, and many prisoners die from illnesses that would otherwise be easily treatable. For those who fall ill, the hope of survival is often slim. Life in Tihar is a life lived in fear. Every day is a new fight for survival. Prisoners don't know if they will survive the night without being attacked or another day without being bullied by the guards. The psychological pressure is unbearable. Many who enter Tihar lose not only their freedom, but also their humanity. Hopelessness and depression are common among inmates and often lead to suicides. Every movement, every step can be fateful. Inmates are constantly on high alert, ready to face an attack or punishment for the smallest infraction. Escape from this hell is not an option. For many, Tihar is simply a waiting room for death. One of the most shocking aspects of Tihar is the level of corruption that pervades the prison. Financial power determines who will suffer and who can buy better conditions. Inmates with enough financial resources or connections can secure a better cell, higher quality food, and even protection from other prisoners. Corruption infiltrates all levels of the prison, from the lowest guards to higher administrative staff. For poor prisoners, however, there is no hope of escape. Those without money are condemned to horrific conditions, violence, and starvation. Corruption in Tihar deepens social inequality and contributes to the divide between richer and poorer inmates. Although governments and human rights organizations occasionally draw attention to the inhumane conditions in Tihar, the truth is that this world remains largely hidden from the public eye. Most people never hear the stories of those who live, suffer, and die there. It's easy to forget those behind prison walls, especially when it comes to criminals. But the real horror of Tihar is that human rights don't exist here, not even for the innocent. Many inmates are still awaiting trial. In India, justice can take years, and so there are people imprisoned here who haven't even been convicted of a crime they may not have committed. These people are left in conditions that are unbearable for many. Tihar prison symbolizes the worst that a person can experience behind the walls of the prison system. It's a place where human rights vanish, where life has no value, and where those with power and money rule over those doomed to suffering. Although international organizations sometimes highlight the appalling conditions in Tihar, real change is rare. Tihar remains a testament to what happens when humanity forgets compassion and justice. As long as this hell exists, it will remain an eternal witness to the failure of a civilization that should protect even the most vulnerable. Don't forget to leave us a comment, subscribe, and give us a like.